Yes, I know. I love you too. Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think of you all the time. You're always in my dreams. Right. Okay, Betsy. Bye. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were out there. Hi there, everybody. It's Dave TV for the 1st of June. Hey, how you doing? 1st of June. There's my new cell phone. Look at that fancy mother there. $19 cell phone. I tell you, I get too much interweb crap, every day being on this damn computer all day, and I don't really need the interweb on my phone. So all I do is I get the cheap cell phone, and it's just a phone. That's all it is. I don't do anything else with this phone other than just talk to people. So I always get the cheap shit phone. And my other cheap shit phone was a $19-20 phone that I got from Singular back in 2005. That phone lasted 7 effing years, and it would have lasted longer had I not put it in the wash. But I'm saying 7 years for a little phone. That thing went through. I mean, I had that in my camo. Always put it in my pocket here in my camo pants. And that thing got banged around, and when I'd stagger out of a bar drunk and I'd fall on the ground, and the poor phone, it continued working. It kept working. I mean, I dropped that phone dozens, thousands of times. That poor little phone, it worked and it worked and it worked and it worked. And then one day, the washing machine was just too much for it. So that's the new phone. Ta-da! Okay, so the other day I was put up a thing about Chris Core. I like Chris Core. Chris Core's a great guy, and I thought when Chris Core was on WMAL, he was great. I like that mid-morning show that he did. Certainly a lot better than Chris Plant. I mean, Chris Core had a classy show. It was intelligent, brilliant talk. I didn't agree with all the points in it, but I thought Chris did a great job. They got rid of Chris Core, and then they put Chris Plant in, and Chris Plant's just a monster. But anyhow, so the other day I'm looking at the WTOP website, and there's, it's a nice site. There's lots of news on it. In fact, go to fuzzface.com. I started up another website called fuzzface.com where I do like a lot of news links. Okay, just Washington area news links, crazy stuff like that guy in Baltimore that ate the brains of his roommate, whatever. But anyhow, so I'm going around looking for stuff for my fuzzface.com site, and there I'm on WTOP, and there's this big ad for Chris Core talking about tankless water heaters. Chris Core is, he does a commentary piece called Core Values on WTOP, which is very good. And it's also in the Washington Examiner as an advertisement, which is weird. But anyhow, and he does a lot of personal testimonial ads. He's always done them. When he was on MAL, now he's on TOP. He always does the things, well, I needed a new roof, so I called, Joe's Roofing Company, or I needed a new, I needed a brain scan, so I called Fred's Brain Scan Company, or I needed a new, he always does the I needed a, or I did this. And that's fine. You hear a lot of those on MAL still today with, Brian and Brian are shilling products from morning till, from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. But anyhow, so he does that. But it was just odd punching up the TOP website, and there's a big picture of Chris Core talking about tankless water heaters. The problem when you do the personal testimonial stuff is you gotta watch. There's a line there. You don't want to cross that line, and it's hard to tell where the line is where you're becoming an annoyance. If you're shilling too much, it's one thing to shill a couple of products, but if you're starting to shill like 20 products and your picture's there on the, even though you're an editorial component of the station, and there you are with your big smiling face, and an ad on the front page of the website, you're starting to get overexposed like that, and I think your value as a shiller is going to drop. I don't know. You got to watch it. You can't do too much of that stuff without really going down the tankless water heater slide to radio infamy, locally speaking. All right, so, a lot of local radio people don't like to talk to me. And that's, officially. They'll talk to me behind the scenes. They'll meet me in a parking garage at night, in a raincoat, in the back, shadowy figure. They'll do that, but they won't officially talk to me. I'll tell you, I haven't really made much of a deal with CBS's Steve Swenson. I haven't. You know, it's fine. I have enough sources over there at CBS so I can get most of what's going on without the official line anyhow. So I really haven't sent out the feelers to communicate much with him. But I hear he's a nice guy. But I have amazing mental abilities, by the way. If you know, I really do. I can channel people in my head. So I don't have to call them on the phone. I can just read their minds. So today I'm going to do the first ever DCR-TV channels, a local radio biggie, Steve Swenson, inhabit my personality, Steve Swenson. Steve, he's the head of CBS Radio here in Washington. Steve Swenson, for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to be Steve Swenson, okay? Hi, I'm Steve Swenson. I may not talk like this in real life, but I'm Steve Swenson. Dave, DCR-TV Dave gave me a few questions here, and I'm going to read them off and answer them for you. So, okay. What's up with WNEW? Look, WNEW, the ratings aren't where we want them to be, but we've got the station up to working where it should be. You know, it sounds pretty good now. We've got a lot of the bugs out. We've got a good staff there, and we're going to see a nice slow rise in the ratings, a gradual rise. That's what we planned for. The station is on all of its targets. This is where we thought we'd be a couple months after launch. The station's sounding good, and we're going to just keep it going the way it is. We're going to be increasing our promotions and stuff like that. But WNEW is doing great. Everything is going good. So there. As for WPGC, the ratings aren't so good. Dave writes here. Well, yes, we'd like to see PGC's ratings up. We've had a little bit of a trouble in the morning there. We're hoping to get some new talent and some better talent there for the station. But the station still, it's a big money maker. It makes a lot of money. We've got a lock on the black audience here in the Washington market. And, it may not be the second top biller as it was a year or two ago, but it still makes a lot of money. It's a heritage station. It is loved by everybody. We love the people that work there. And, that young Jason Kidd guy, he's doing a good job. He's really done a good job. He washes my limo. He comes over and he cleans my pool. And he programs PGC. I think he's doing a good job. I like to see more radio guys like him. Okay, so what else? JFK, WJFK. I'm cleaning house at WJFK. I'm going to fire everybody next month. Don't tell anybody, but we're going to start over from scratch. I'm just kidding. No, I like PG. I love JFK. I really, again, we may not get the greatest ratings there on JFK, but it bills well. Advertisers love the station. The junkies, my God, they're the nicest guys. I just love them. They clean my limo. They clean out my pool. They join Jason Kidd over there. We have little parties in my backyard. They're great guys. Love the junkies. We may mix it up. I'm thinking maybe we're going to move one of the junkies to afternoons with LeVar, and maybe put another junkie there in middays with that Holden Kushner guy, whatever his name is. We may mix things up. But the guys there are good guys. I'm playing with things, but I can't see any big changes. The station, it's loved by the advertisers. It's loved by the listeners. Yeah, moving from Fairfax, we had to do it. We can't have our cluster spread all over the metro area. We're keeping it there. We're keeping everything in Lanham for the time being. We're going to move to D.C. eventually. We are. In fact, I'd love to move right across the damn street from WTOP. Up there on Idaho Avenue, up there by the cathedral. I'd love to go there. But, we may go right down by the Capitol building. Something really prestigious. So we're looking around at D.C. for some office space. We'll let you know. Maybe we'll go where Radio 1 was going to go, over there up in Northeast. Or maybe we'll do that one broadcast plaza. Maybe we can call it Swenson Plaza. But we're thinking about that. What's the other one? Okay. Yeah, okay, right. Dave wanted me to ask, he was asking me about the Fresh. It's going good. It's our top-rated station. Tommy McFly. Hey, good guy. Really good guy. Comes over now and then, washes my limo, cleans up my pool with the junkies and with Jason Kidd. He's a great guy. Hey, it's our best, It's good. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's, you know, what can I say? And also, yeah, the signal moved to 107.9. Sure, it's hurt us, but we're doing okay. You know, we're the only major Spanish station. Okay, that little Mexican thingy there that Hubbard runs. Yeah, sure. But we're the only ones on FM that, I mean, it's a real radio station, that 87.7. That's not a real radio station. We're a real radio station, 107.9. Baltimore. We cover Baltimore. We have a great signal. Okay, yeah, Northern Virginia can't hear us anymore, but hey, you know, it's El Zol. It's still doing great, even though the ratings aren't so great. We make money. You know, the key is making money. It doesn't matter what the ratings are. Make the money. Oh, whoa. I'm drained. Well, Steve Swenson, the channeling is over. No more channeling of Steve Swenson. Oh, man. Who should I channel next? Dave LeBrose. No, we're not doing that. Not doing that in a million years. All right, folks. That's Dave TV for today. Hope you enjoyed our out-of-body experience there. So, there.